Hi, I'm Sherilyn, and today we're going to be replacing a convection motor in a Maytag range. You may need to replace your convection motor if you don't hear the fan running when you have your oven set to convect. This repair should only take about 20-25 minutes. For this repair, we're only going to need 3 tools: a Phillips head screwdriver, a 1/4-inch nut driver, and a 1/2-inch socket wrench. If you don't already have a new convection motor, they are available for purchase on our website. Before repairing any appliance, always make sure it is completely disconnected from its power source. The convection fan is located in the bottom oven, so we'll start by opening that up and removing the oven racks. Set those to the side. The fan compartment is located on the back of the oven and is held in place with 3 Phillips head screws. So we'll unscrew those. We'll take that off. In order to remove this fan blade, we'll need to use our 1/2-inch socket wrench. This bolt here is reverse threaded, so we'll need to turn it to the right in order to loosen it. It is a very sharp fan, so make sure you're wearing gloves. Once that bolt's off, the fan blade will come right off. Next, we'll need to remove the 3 screws that are mounting the convection motor to the back of the oven. So we'll unscrew those. And now we can remove the motor from the back. We'll start by removing the trim in between the top back panel and the lower one. We have 1/4-inch nuts, so take your 1/4-inch nut driver to remove these. Careful of the sharp edges. And then we can remove the remaining bolts around the bottom and edges. Now we can remove the back panel. Just tip it back and lift it up. You may have to wiggle it loose a little bit, but then set it to the side. Now we can remove the convection motor. Be careful of the insulation. We can disconnect the power by squeezing the 2 tabs in the harness. And we're going to need to remove this shield. So unscrew the screws that are holding that in place. Once all the screws are out, you can remove the shield. And there's our old motor. You can replace it. Once you have your new motor, you can place the old shield onto the motor. Make sure that the screw holes line up. And replace those screws. And once those are lined up, you can set the motor back in place. Make sure that the insulation is all lined up with the holes in the back of the oven. And you can place your motor until it sits by itself in there. Reconnect the wiring. And now we'll need to work from the front to lock it into place. And then start screwing in the screws back into where they were mounted. You can use the shaft to help line up those holes. Don't need gloves for this part, at least get it started in there. Now we can put the fan back on. The shaft is keyed to the shape of the D, same as this fan. So line up the flat edges. Place that right on there. And we can take our bolt, start turning it to the left to tighten it because it is reverse threaded. Tighten it as much as you can by hand. We'll take our socket wrench to tighten down that bolt, and we can replace the cover. Line up the holes. Putting these screws back in is just easier without gloves. Start threading them by hand. Tighten them down. Replace your oven racks and shut the door. And now we can replace the back panel. And start by lining up the bottom section and lining up those holes. Make sure not to pinch any wires. Line up the top holes. And then finally replace the trim. That wasn't too hard, right? Here's a quick recap. All of our OEM parts and tools are available for purchase on our website. Check them out and let us know what you think on these social media sites.